Okay, everyone, a quick blitz through today's price action. We're not going to waste any time. All right, because I don't have too much time today. So what have we got here? We've got our range. This is our range that we've been playing with. We said earlier that we're looking to get a potential thrust through the range as we approach the range high. Yes, we could deviate it, but there's a chance we get this, which is a thrust, a retracement, and that continuation. So we got that. It wasn't the most beautiful one. It wasn't the most prominent one, but it was just a tiny one over here. We did break through the range. We came back into it, and then we entered a long. Now we can have a look to see what the confirmation was there to enter that long. I'm personally not in that long. I'm in a long from down here, but I'm not in this long here. But I'm going to talk through how you could have entered that one in a sec. So there are two reasons why you had to be a bit hesitant here. Well, the first reason is the break we did have from the break of structure. If we go on a shorter time frame, so this break that we have over here, I'm going to circle it. It wasn't a very convincing break, was it? And on a higher time frame, that probably looks like an SFP. Let's check. So on the 1 hour, okay, still a break. Okay, still on a break on 1 hour, but on a 2 hour, it's an SFP. So you had to be a bit hesitant there, all right, because we could have simply just rotated all the way back down. However, you also had to be aware, and you'd be silly not to be aware of the fact that we had a nice trend line of liquidity as well as a nice curvature of liquidity, which suggests price could come back to sweep those liquidity levels. And this is something that is very, 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 I can't emphasize this enough. It's very common with Bitcoin, but it's common in both ways. What do I mean by that? So this is what I mean. First of all, here, look, we have a trend line of liquidity. What does price do? It comes up to sweep it. Let's see where else we can find it. See here we have a curvature of liquidity. So you see liquidity, these shorts, nice curve of these shorts. People who shorted here, here, and here. What did price do? Price came back up to sweep it. All right. So you can backtest this and you can check to see how often this happens, what tends to happen when it happens. But it's definitely something that's very common, not just in Bitcoin, but lots of traditional, assets. So here we've got a nice curve again, price break structure here, nice little distribution, accumulation at the top, and then it reverses and comes back to sweep it. So you had to be cautious. Is that what's taking place here? You do have to be cautious. That's why if I get a flip in market structure anywhere here, man, I'm going to enter that short. If I get a flip here, I'm going to enter that short, and I'm going to hold that short because there is a chance. Obviously, Bitcoin could be, you know, bursting up into like infinity. Yeah, great. But it could simply just also, as quickly as it went up, it could burst down all the way back down to this level. All right. So that's what I'm looking out for. And I'm going to be looking at each and one of every these zones for potential pullbacks or retracements. All right. So, right. That was the thing you had to be aware of in the zone. But let's see. We talked about in the moment that we broke through this range, could we have entered a retracement? Of course you could have. But in order to do that, you had to ask Mr. Demand and see where he was. Well, Mr. Demand was right here. And it was a very low time frame demand. So if we look at this expansion leg, we actually had Mr. Demand. Let's see, was it a 5 minute structure? It was not a 5 minute demand. Was it a 3 minute demand? I think it was a doji. In my memory, it was a doji. Yeah, that's it. So it was a demand on a 3 minute. So we had a 3 minute demand zone. And this 3 minute demand zone is exactly where we got a reaction from. So price came up, came back to that zone, flipped market structure here, and then we entered that long. Now, this flip happened in two time frames. This flip happened in a 1 minute and a 3 minute. So the 1 minute flip gave you an entry right around here for a nice little long. Okay, but the 3 minute was a less risk or lower risk trade, and obviously you had to pay more for the lower risk trade. All right, the lower the risk you're taking, the more expensive it is. What do I mean? If you're taking lower the risk by waiting for the higher time frame confirmation, you are going to make less money. All right, from what you have risked, and we can see that here. So what we've got here, if we were to analyze the risk to reward on this trade, if we did it on a 1 minute entry, it was about a 6x. I think it was an 8x if you refine it. But on a 3 minute entry, if we waited patiently, it was only, oof, that's not looking good. That's not looking good. Only about a 1x. All right. But if you waited for tiny retracement, maybe you're pushing a 2x there. All right. But, anyways, that was that trade over there. All right. So, what am I looking out for now? What are my next trades going to look like? Well, I'll be silly not to ignore this structure. And this structure is a fact that we've got high, low, high, low, perhaps a higher low, and then a higher high. So this could just be a higher low for another higher high. If that's the case, where is that low likely to take place? Well, it's already started to take place. Well, it started to take place at this 5 minute zone. This nice little 5 minute zone that we have here is where we are getting this bounce from. We didn't really get a confirmation there, in my opinion, and we haven't really closed above that structure point, this line here. All right. So regardless, we have confirmed the fact that this is a range. So therefore, we're looking for a deviation trade, a short from the range high and a long from the range low. We've also got our supply, 10-minute supply at the range high. So we're looking there to see if we get a trade. But remember what I said earlier, we could be maintaining this upward structure, which looks like this at a higher time frame, maybe the 12 or the 15-minute time frame. We've got higher high, higher low, higher high. Simply could just be coming down for a higher low, all right, for that reaction there. So I'm looking at this zone in general to look for my next long. And for my next long, I'm going to be waiting patiently to see, can I get a juicy market structure flip? So price does this on the way, flip structure there, gives me a nice retracement, boom. I'm going to be aiming for at least this high. That's going to give me a nice 6 or 7x trade, okay? That's a decent trade to watch out for. So as far as my trades, that's currently what I'm looking out for. Nothing crazy, nothing spectacular, just a continuation play and a range deviation setup. And I'm also aware, I am aware that, hey, listen, Bitcoin could just do another impulse up. It loves to do it. When Bitcoin does this nice little curve, yeah, yes, it does like to also sweep the liquidity, but sometimes it likes to do a nice little impulse. Look at that. Nice little curve, bang. Nice little curve, bang. All right, it loves to do that. Let's see what else we've got going on here. Let's see if we've got some more examples of that behavior from Bitcoin. All right, so here, not really a curve, so we won't really count that. What can we see? What can we see? What can we see? Okay, perhaps this is a curve. Perhaps this is a curve in some way. Look, nice little curve. Bang. Okay. But it happens all the time. So definitely look out for it. And this is what retail traders call a bull flag. Okay, this is what a lot of them know as a bull flag. But it's all based on liquidity. So yeah, back test that. Have a look at that. See how you get on and let me know. All right. As far as my trade goes, I am aware that hey, this break in structure from this range, it's mediocre, and I'm still gonna call it mediocre until we start closing above this line. When we start closing above that line, then I can say, okay, cool, we're in the clear. All right, but until then, I'm still cognizant that we could get this a flipping structure, and it could take us all the way back here still. All right. So definitely look at that to see if you can get a trade there as soon as we get a flip in there. All right. So that's what I'm looking out for. We're about to finish this stream in record time, under 10 minutes, which is unheard of. This is something that I've never done before. And yeah, so that's kind of it. I'm looking for my long plays there, looking for my short plays there. This green box is a juicy one because we also have two zones in there, and we have a POC. I don't think we have a POC actually, but we do have a value area low of this range. So if we took out our range, our fixed volume tool, and took it from there to there, we can see that our value area low is coming in that block. So why not look for a long there? Okay. That's how I'm playing these markets. Hope you found this useful. If you like the content, feel free to hit subscribe, hit the follow button, and just make sure you are, trading responsibly. You're exercising good risk management, and you are obviously taking profits when you can, de-risking your trades when you can. That's the way to do it. And remember, most of all, you only should be trading 1%. Don't get greedy. Slow and steady wins the race. All right. So we'll leave it there. Hope you found this useful, and I will see you tomorrow.